As temperatures rise and the heat of summer starts to set in, it's important to periodically take a moment to pause, cool down a bit, and think ahead. Right now, it's time to do this for poinsettias. I've already started to get proactive questions on poinsettias, not just about propagation, but about finish production as well. And while there are great resources available that cover poinsettias from start to finish, today I want to focus on a few key considerations that can make a big difference early in the process. Let's begin with one of the most important strategies for success with poinsettias, starting with a strong preventative IPM program.
Mycorrhizal Applications is recognized as the master distributor of a portfolio of biological and botanical plant support solutions and the world's leading supplier of mycorrhizal soil inoculants. Backed by industry-leading research and advanced production, they deliver innovative products that support plant health, performance, and vigor. They're known across the industry for popular brands like MycoApply, AmiloShield, and Debug. Mycorrhizal Applications offers proven solutions tailored to every growing operation. To learn more or find a distributor, visit mycorrhiza.com.
The goal is simple. Get out in front of pest problems before they start. The cleaner your crop is from day one, the easier it becomes to stay ahead of pests and diseases throughout the production cycle. There are several ways to approach preventative IPM in poinsettias, but it helps to think about the tools at your disposal in three main categories. First, biopesticides and biocontrol agents, aka beneficials. These tools often work best when pest pressure is still low, which means an early start is critical. For example, applying beneficial nematodes like Steinernema feltii alongside trichoderma-based products right at transplant can be a very effective strategy to get ahead of common pests and diseases. Nematodes target early populations of thrips and fungus gnats in the soil, while trichoderma supports root health by suppressing diseases like Pythium. If you're using predators or parasitoids to control pests like whiteflies, many of these need to start being released as soon as plants hit the bench. In most cases, the earlier you can introduce beneficials, the easier it is to maintain low pest populations over the life of the crop. Be sure to follow all instructions and best management practices provided by your biocontrol supplier to get the best control of target pests and bang for your buck. Second category, soft chemistries. This includes tools like insecticidal soaps, oil-based insecticides and miticides, adjuvants like Stick Coat or Captiva Prime, and other broad-spectrum materials that work by physically affecting pests rather than relying on a chemical mode of action that attacks a specific physiological process in the pest. These types of products are excellent first lines of defense. Even when propagation is done well, it's nearly impossible to guarantee that incoming plant material is 100% pest-free. Dipping liners before transplant and or applying soft chemistries early, either in their trays or in finished containers shortly after transplant, can help to catch anything that slips through the net. A good example would be a tank mix with a Bovaria-based product combined with an oil-based insecticide/miticide as a liner dip. When combined, they can work together to clean up infestations early before they become major problems a month or two down the line. Third category, traditional systemics. Preventative applications can be very effective, but timing is everything. For drenches, plants need to be developmentally ready. That means roots should be well established, ideally reaching the container sidewalls before you apply any systemic products. A healthy, actively growing root system ensures that the plant will actually absorb the active ingredients efficiently rather than potentially losing them through irrigation runoff. When applied at the right time, systemics can provide strong protection against pests and diseases during critical early growth stages. Now let's shift to another topic and personal pet peeve of mine when it comes to poinsettias: filling pots ahead of transplanting. As springtime seasonal helpers head out, but summertime operations get busy, many growers look for ways to get ahead by filling pots with growing media ahead of time. While this can be a time saver, there are some important considerations to keep in mind. Ideally, containers should be filled just before planting. Fresh, slightly moist media gives plants the best possible start. A moderate moisture level, around a 2 on the 1 to 5 moisture scale, is ideal. If you must pre-fill, your pots more than 24 hours before planting liners or direct sticking unrooted cuttings in smaller container programs, keep the following best practices in mind. First, do everything you can to keep the gap between filling and planting as short as possible. The longer media sits, the greater the risk of drying out, and dry media can be difficult to re-wet, leading to water stress in your young plants right at transplant. Second, take steps to preserve moisture in your pre-filled pots. Covering containers with plastic film can help to reduce evaporation, lowering light levels by pulling shade, or storing pots in a more controlled environment like a head house can also help reduce water loss from the soil. A very light misting overhead can also help buffer moisture loss. Just make sure that media doesn't get wet enough to start growing algae. Alternatively, increasing humidity in the greenhouse by wetting floors rather than the media itself can create a protective boundary layer of sorts without compacting the soil. The number one thing to avoid: fully watering containers that don't have plants in them yet. Watering overhead with a hose and breaker or boom at this stage can compact the media, promote algae growth, and potentially lead to slower root development after transplant. Thanks for listening, and I hope you keep these reminders in the front of your mind these next few weeks. Your poinsettias will thank you for it.